Welcome back, everybody. I want to ask you a question. Have you heard of the upcoming movie, Rebel Moon? If not, you've come to the right place. I decided to take a little break from the ever-changing nature that is Warner Brothers Discovery, with their two CEOs of DC Studios, Peter Safran and James Gunn. Trust me, they're doing a lot of stuff, and I'm sure I'm going to cover it later on. Now, it's clear that the Snyderverse, for all intents and purposes, is pretty much done, and only living in the hopes and minds of us Snyder fans. The hashtag of sell the Snyderverse to Netflix notwithstanding. I'll probably cover that soon, by the way. But just because the Snyderverse is done, that doesn't mean that Zack Snyder himself hasn't been busy. Snyder directed the 2021 movie Army of the Dead. This was kind of a return to his roots in the zombie genre. Just for reference, Snyder got his big break as a feature film director with the movie Dawn of the Dead. Army of the Dead actually spun off the movie Army of Thieves, a prequel of sorts focused on the safecracker Ludwig Dieter, which Snyder was a producer on. His upcoming movie is what I find interesting, and that is Rebel Moon. I think this movie looks pretty wild. Let us take a look, shall we? The IMDb synopsis of Rebel Moon describes the film as follows. A young woman seeks out warriors from other planets to fight the tyrannical armies terrorizing her peaceful colony. This movie is set in the sci-fi genre. The movie stars Sofia Boutella of The Mummy fame as Cora, Charlie Hunnam, the voice of Anthony Hopkins, and that's always cool, Djimon Hounsou, I'm sorry if I butchered that, Michael Huisman, and Ed Skrein. The last two I kind of find funny because, they were both Dario and Haris. Personally, I thought Ed Skrein was better than Huisman, but that's just me. Oh, by the way, Skrein is playing the evil regent in this. So far, what I like about this concept is that it's original intellectual property, or IP, and it already has plans for sequels and expansion of the universe. I mean, it's too soon to tell, but it is possible this could be a big franchise and the start of a new sci-fi mythology. Rebel Moon was actually pitched as a Star Wars movie, if you can believe it. I had heard between the the prequels and the sale to Disney, Lucasfilm was wanting to branch out with some more adult-themed stories that didn't necessarily focus on the Skywalkers. I personally think that it's better that it wasn't picked up by Lucasfilm. It will be cool to see original content. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Star Wars, but Disney Plus is churning out Star Wars stuff on the regular, and I'd kind of like to watch something new from time to time. Rebel Moon is being produced by Zack and Deborah Snyder, while their production company, Stone Quarry. Along with being available to stream on Netflix, Rebel Moon will have a limited theatrical release. Now, this is pretty common with streaming movies. A small theatrical run is done, so the film will be eligible for award season as a motion picture. In truth, the award agencies have not really caught up with the streaming revolution. A question is, why is Netflix allowing Stone Quarry to make such an ambitious project? Well, simply put, Netflix has a first look deal with the Snyders. I had to look this up because I didn't even know what a first look deal was. In the film industry, it's an agreement between a writer and an independent production company, or between an independent production company and a film studio in which the potential buyer of a not yet written script or in development film or television project pays a development fee to the writer or producer for the right to have the first look at the new material before others get to see it. And at that time, an offer to purchase or distribute or adhere to purchasing or distribution terms already stated in the agreement. So to boil it all down, Netflix pays a fee and they get the right to look at the project before anybody else can. This gives Snyder and his company a tremendous amount of creative freedom, with the safety of knowing that a distributor, in this case Netflix, will be willing to purchase their efforts. I'm sure this is a nice change of pace from his time over at DC. I'm going to tell you, at this point, there is not a heck of a lot of information on this film except for what has inspired it. One thing, of course, is Star Wars, since it was originally pitched as a Star Wars project. And we can kind of tell this with some of the visual aspects, like a starship, presumably for the evil Regent Belisarius, looks an awful lot like a Star Destroyer. Also, I'm guessing the Regent character and his army takes a lot of inspiration from the Galactic Empire. But from the brief amount of details I can see from the promotional images, I would say that Dune is something that Snyder borrowed from as well. This actually would make a lot of sense, since Dune was an inspiration for George Lucas when he wrote Star Wars. An even bigger inspiration for Snyder is the Akira Kurosawa classic, The Seven Samurai. If you haven't seen this movie, and why haven't you? I know it's older and in Japanese, so you gotta read, but damn, what an absolutely gorgeous film. The plot goes as follows. A samurai answers a village's request for protection after they fall on hard times. The town needs protection from bandits, so the samurai gathers 6 others to help him teach the people how to defend themselves, and the villagers provide the soldiers with food. A giant battle occurs when 40 bandits attack the village. Amazingly, there are actually a lot of movies that get inspiration from this film classic. Most of us know the classic Western, The Magnificent Seven, was basically an adaptation of The Seven Samurai. But movies like Predator, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, The Isle of Dogs, and most surprisingly, Disney's A Bug's Life have all borrowed elements from The Seven Samurai. Given how much of an inspiration The Seven Samurai is to Rebel Moon, it makes me wonder if the Sofia Boutella character, Korra, is a space samurai gathering others to help the space farmers. By the way, I found that if you add the word space in front of any word, it instantly becomes sci-fi. Rebel Moon was shot on a Red V-Raptor XL camera with a bespoke Semiscope anamorphic lens. This will give the film a blurry and dreamy kind of look, and I'm pretty sure that the Army of the Dead and the nightmare scenes of his Justice League were shot on the same equipment. All in all, I think this looks pretty cool, and I can't wait to see it. I'm excited to see his take on the sci-fi genre, but of course, that's just my opinion, and I would love to hear yours. Feel free to express yourself in the comment section. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please give a like and a sub. Fare thee well, my friends, and take care. Cue the music.